Hey, what's going on everybody, and welcome back to another Python scripting tutorial. In this video we're going to be looking at some different subtypes for our properties. So if you saw the last video, we actually turned a float vector property into a color input. So in this video we're going to take a look at some more. And if you stick around to the end, I'm going to show you how we can add a password to things. So let's go ahead and just jump right in. And then if we go over here and scroll through, change this to the scripting workspace. Then go ahead and play around with the layout if you want to make things a bit bigger. So we want to take a look at some of the different subtypes, and for that we're going to need a panel to display them. If you want, you can go to the templates, then to Python, and then if you scroll through and find UI panel simple, you could use one of these if you want. But instead of that, I'm just going to open up a template I made previous. So this is the template script I'm using, and this is the result from the previous tutorial. And as always, if you want to follow along and download this script, there will be a link in our blog. Go ahead and check that out. But essentially all we have is a property group with two properties. We have a panel which will be displayed on here. We also have an operator and an updated registration method. We just go to the top and then run this script. Then go over here and press N. And then if we go down to the bottom, we have this new tab. And we can see we just have this text input and also a float vector property. So these two properties here. Now, as I mentioned, we did a previous video where we changed this float vector into a color input, and we did that by changing the subtype argument. So by default, it's just a float vector, it's 3 float values. Let me just get rid of all this. Hit run script. So this is what we have by default. Now we can enter some arguments to change this. As you saw before, there was a few different arguments. But in this example, I'm going to change the subtype. Subtype equals apostrophe twice, and then in between here I'm going to change this to a color underscore gamma. If we hit run script, you can see we now have a color input. So again, just by changing the subtype, we can get loads of different variations on what input is displayed. So that's just one different subtype. If we change this to something else, it'll give us a different look. So let's just change this back to default by changing this subtype to none. Hit run script, and it changes it back to a float vector. But let's say we want to change this to X, Y, and Z. We could actually do that by changing this to translation. Hit run script. Now we can't really see it right now. Let me just make this bigger. Now we can see it says X, Y, and Z. Again, by default, it doesn't do that. We'll change this back to none. Hit run script. So now it just displays the float value. So again, depending on what you're trying to display on your panel or on your pop-up dialog box, you might want to change it to something else which makes more sense. Now you might be wondering, how do we find out the different subtypes that we can use, or even what are the different arguments that we can use for each property? Now it's really simple. If we go back to our Python console, so if we go over here, Python console, we have this. We just need to first type bpy.props.float vector property. Again, this is for the float vector. Now I'm going to hit autocomplete. So now you can see we have all this green text, which is very helpful depending on what you want to find out. So we just scroll through, find the top. So we can go through here, we can see maybe an example of the things that we can use. We can give it a name, a description, a default value, minimum, maximum, all different things like that. And if you keep reading, we can see here we can also give it a subtype. So now we know what arguments we can actually put inside our property. Let's find out what subtypes we can use within this. If we scroll down, we can see each argument sort of gives you a description. We just want to scroll through here and find the subtype. And it's usually inside an enumerator like this. So argument subtype. So we could use color, translation, direction, velocity, acceleration, you name it, we can use it. So how does that look? Let's change this to say velocity. Hit run script. So instead of it just being X and then a float value, this says X float value meters per second. So it's actually giving you a velocity. So again, depending on what you're trying to control, you might want to display it in a different way. Now I've obviously not tested all of these, but some things will work better than others depending on what you're trying to achieve. But yeah, definitely go through these and play around with it and see which ones will fit your needs. So that's how we can find the different subtypes. Let's go back down. Instead of this being a float vector, let's see what we can use for the string. So instead of typing all this out again, what I can do is just hit Control and then spacebar. Then it will auto-complete, or you can hit this button up here, it'll do the same thing. For the string, if we go to the subtypes, there's not that many actually. There's file path, directory path, file name, byte string, and password. So this is something else that I wanted to take a look at, which is password protecting things, I guess. Not sure how many people would use this or how important it is, but I thought it'd be cool just to take a look at how we could do that. So let's get rid of this float vector, we no longer need it. Then for the string, we've already given it one argument, which is a name. Now to add another, we just want to go to the end, just hit comma, and then give it a subtype. Subtype equals apostrophe twice. Then within here, I'm going to type password. Then if we hit run script, so now when we try and enter text, it'll actually be hidden. So the idea is this is going to be a password, and when we hit this button it will add a cube only if the password is correct. So that's the idea. Let's go ahead and get rid of everything in the scene, we don't need it. Let's get rid of this text in here as well. So I'm going to change a few things just to make it look a little bit better. For example, instead of it being enter text, I'm going to say enter password. And then go down to the operator, change this to maybe something like confirm. Hit run script, and there we go. So as I said, this is going to be really basic. Within the operator, I'm going to use an if statement. So we want to say if myTool.my_string, which again is referring to this property here, which is this one here. So if myTool.myString is equal to quotation, add a colon. So in here we can define any kind of password that we want. So I'm going to type awesome password. And then at the end here I'm going to hit enter. Now I'm not sure why, but it should indent it automatically. So if we press tab, it should look like this. If it doesn't, just hit tab so you're not in the same line as the if statement. We want to add something to the 3D scene when this button is pressed. So let's go ahead and add the good old default cube. Type bpy.ops.primitive_cube_add, open and close parentheses, and there we go. So now if we hit run script, everything works as it should, we don't get any errors. If we type awesome password, so I know you can't see it, but I promise it does say awesome password, then hit enter. Then if we hit confirm, it adds a default cube, which is great. Now I just want to test this and make sure it doesn't add a cube when there's no password, or if there's an incorrect password, so something like that. And we could go to the panel, maybe add some text, maybe show that the password is working or not. So yeah, you could probably take this further, add some icons and text to the panel when there's a password enabled or not. Maybe add another option to change the password, get something really complex, I don't know. So yeah, hopefully this video did help. If it did, hit that like button. As always, thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time.